I want everybody to applaud right now because we're making history. We are making history for our beautiful state of Florida. And how many times would that happen, this type of history? Only 2 sculptures in the capital that represent Florida, and the other one is of a sculptor he was from San Agustin, and he did Gory, which air conditioned we couldn't have. We would be here without thanking him. But it's been a beautiful journey. I started quite a few years ago when the state of Florida decided to change the sculpture of Kirby and replace it for someone who had done something for the state of Florida. And as you know, Dr. Bethune has done so much for the state of Florida and for her hometown of Daytona Beach. Thank you, Dr. Bethune. She is unbelievable. I really got to know her. I really feel like I know her very well. Every little part of her sculpting, but also I learned so much about what she has done. And I think that it is so wonderful that she's here in Daytona Beach, because she was going to go straight to Washington, D.C., but because of all the different situations we had on January the 6th, the Capitol is closed until the end of the year. So in the beginning of next year, in February, she will go in the Capitol. And that will be a magnificent moment for all of us, because she is our Florida girl, and she will be there forever and ever. And yes, I started with a piece of marble that was 6 tons, and now she weighs about 3 tons. And that was a lot of chipping away. I have a lot of experience that I learned from the artisans in Pietrasanta. I was very lucky because not too many women work in marble. And I have, like Nancy said, I have been preparing for this all my life, because I've always had this dream about working in marble, being a sculptor, and I just love in Europe all the sculptures in marble. And so I said, wow, I want to do that. And everywhere I went here, when I went to school, they said, oh, no, we don't teach that. I guess you'll have to go to Italy. So I finally decided to go, and I had some great recommendation letters, and with that I went to the Beth studio, and that's kind of fate, because I didn't realize that. I didn't realize I was going to the best place in the world to learn what I wanted to do. And it's also a beautiful place. I encourage you to ever visit Italy, go over and visit Pietrasanta. But I also want to thank Nancy, and I want to thank Halifax, and I want to thank Lo, and the whole committee. I saw Joni around here, but without the statutory committee, this sculpture would not be here. So I want everybody to thank Nancy and Lo and Halifax and all the work that they're doing extra for Halifax, but here she is, so we have to especially thank, and I thank all of you for being here and seeing the sculpture and at this time before it goes to DC. And so that is a magnificent thing, because without this committee, it wouldn't be here, and so thanks again. I'm honored to be here for you.
So just a little bit more information about Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. So all of you are saying, I understand Dr. John Gorey is in Statuary Hall because he was the father of air conditioning. He invented air conditioning. But in case all of you are not completely aware of all of what Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune has done to be one of the greatest Floridians in the history of Florida, let me just share with you just a few things. We all know that she founded the great Bethune-Cookman University with $1.50 on land that was given to her that had been the garbage dump in Daytona Beach. She had 5 little girls in faith in God. And what happened from that school that she opened became a college, then a university. So think about that. If you started if you said to yourself today, I'm gonna start a university, it'd be pretty tough, wouldn't it? And so that was that woman. She went out and asked people like Mr. Gamble of Procter & Gamble to serve on her board of directors, Mr. White with the White Sewing Machine Company. And they said, serve on your board of directors of what? And she said, of my school. And she said, well, where? They said, well, where is the school? And she said, it's right here and right here. So she had this vision of the school and even had the wherewithal to ask people to serve on her board of trustees before it even existed. But she went on, and she's known as the mother of the struggle, because she went on to work as a trailblazer for social justice, women's rights, the suffrage movement. She was very instrumental in our women's right to vote that was just celebrated last year for our 100th anniversary of having that opportunity. She worked to make sure that women had the right to vote before she was even able to have the right to vote as a Black woman. So she worked tirelessly for women of all color. She worked tirelessly for children. She worked tirelessly for African Americans. She founded the National Council of Negro Women so that she could help promote on a national level jobs for African Americans and jobs for women. She was an advisor to 5 different US presidents, and she was most influential with President Roosevelt through her good friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt. And you know, when he moved forward the New Deal and all of the opportunities that he moved forward for African Americans, he always had her giving him advice and counsel. She was one of the first women, and she was certainly the first Black woman to ever represent the United States in the United Nations. So when she went over to the United Nations representing the United States of America, she saw a rose garden there that had all these beautiful colors of roses, and one of them was this deep burgundy black. And she said, you know, this is how our world should be. You know, it should reflect God's diversity. It should be a place where we all thrive together and we all grow together no matter what our color is. So she really helped promote unification. And one of the things that Nilda did with the sculpture is incorporate all the symbolism. So you see that beautiful black rose, that's that symbolism of her testimony to what humanity should be about. It's her symbolism of the fact that she represented us in the United Nations. The cane is representative of the walking stick that President Roosevelt gave her and represents her influence as one of the first and the official leader of the first Black cabinet that was in President Roosevelt's era. The stack of books that you'll see, each one of the spines of the stack of books has a different saying, and if you don't do anything after today besides manage your diabetes really well, I want you to Google Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune and her last will and testament, because she wrote a document that is timeless. And now, how many of us have written papers in the past, right, for school or for our profession? And are those documents really timeless documents? You know, I mean, besides the 10 Commandments, and besides the Bill of Rights and Gettysburg Address, there aren't that many that we could say are absolutely timeless documents. And yet she created one. And she said in her last will and testament, I leave you love, I leave you peace, I leave you courage, I leave you a thirst for education. I leave you racial dignity. I leave you the desire to live harmoniously with one another. And so if I encourage you to read that document, take a look at the symbolism within the statue, read the columns, the storyboards, and the window clings if you have a chance, because that will really give you a very good understanding of why she is one of the greatest Floridians in the US history, and in Florida history particularly. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your lunch, and let's have the great rest of the conference. Thank you.